Welcome to Invert Aim, gaming news done differently. I'm here with Brendan and Ryan, and of course, I'm Fisticuffs. Today we're talking about the Xbox One X, the new wave of retro gaming consoles coming out, and EB Games' new play and swap and play program that they've just announced. So guys, what have you been doing this week?
It's been all about Gamescom, I think, for
Gamescom.
both of us, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably different games, different companies, but yeah, Gamescom. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, so the big conference over there in Cologne in Germany, showcasing the latest in the upcoming games, hardware, and everything in between. So I've been watching a lot of trailers, watching a lot of hands-on tech demos, let's plays, the work. So I'm pretty hyped. Pretty hyped.
Well, I've got to ask, what are you excited about?
Where do we begin? I'm excited for a lot of Xbox exclusive, truth be told, but sadly they're all in 2018, which makes me a little bit sad. But yeah, I can race to my heart's content in November, which is nice. But
I think for me, big one, obviously Destiny 2. I think is going to be big for a lot of us. I'm really excited for that game. Like, there's not very often I get excited for a game because I'm no console for me. I'm pretty much.
I was about to say, I'm just throwing it out there. You're excited because it's going to drop on PC.
Exactly.
As well.
So that's my big thing as well. I've never played Destiny. I've never played it because I'm always on PC. Oh, and now the fact that it's actually dropping on PC, I actually get to play it for once. So I'm very excited for that. What else is there? There's a few other things coming out as well. I'm weirdly excited for FIFA, and I'm not a soccer fan at all. But
let's just cut the show here. Come on.
I enjoy watching people stream FIFA because I like watching them open packs for some reason. I don't know, and I don't know who any of the players are, but I just enjoy it. So
who are you?
I don't know.
Where's the Ryan I've known for 12 years?
But I still hate soccer, just to be very clear. I'm not a football or soccer fan. So
what about you? What have you been doing this week?
Nothing much. Just playing a little bit of Dream Daddy, getting my flirt on with some cool neighborhood
I see
dads.
some product placement here on the
They
nice
didn't
shirt.
give me this shirt. I bought it because I was so hyped for this game. So
do you want to give us a quick elevator pitch on what the hell Dream Daddy is? Because I've seen a lot of hype on the internet. The internet's run wild on this game.
Oh my god, the fan art has gone ape shit. So basically, you're a single dad with your daughter, and then you go around and meet some other neighborhood dads and see if you might hit it off.
with the dads.
Yeah, with some dads.
Open-minded gaming.
I haven't played it, so I've no clue.
I'm pretty sure
pretty
your
great.
character is like, you're modelled after a character in there. You're like the bear type of daddy there.
Bear daddy?
I was a bouncer at Oxford Street for quite some time, and we used to have bear nights, and they were very honest with how they felt about me, and they loved me.
Aw, everyone loves you though. That's a secret of you. But yeah, there's like goth dad, there's like go down to the club dad, there's coffee dad. Yeah. Excited to...
Coffee dad.
Coffee dad.
Yeah, I met him at the coffee shop.
Hangs out at Starbucks. That's where you'd meet
Pretty
someone.
much, yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
I like coffee, as evidenced by my
I'd probably
cup
end
right
up hooking up with Goth Dad.
Goth Dad's been
Yeah.
a little bit of a favourite online, yeah.
Is he? Okay,
Yeah.
there you
Share
go.
a couple of choke chains and things like that.
That's it. There you go. Dads out there looking for another dad.
On this segment, I wanted to bring to the table the Xbox One X, the new console announced by Microsoft last year at E3 2016. It's scheduled to release at the start of November of this year. It's the most powerful console ever made at time of recording. Obviously, there's going to be a PlayStation 5 and everything else is going to come out as well. But the One X is releasing. It's an extremely powerful bit of kit. Pre-orders have already sold out here in Australia and across the world. So there is a lot of hype behind it. But I wanted to know what your opinions on it are. I've got some pretty strong opinions. I'm typically, like, as far as gaming goes, I rest my hat with Microsoft. Like, I'm an Xbox boy. Like, I've got all the platforms, but Xbox is sort of what owns my heart. So I'm hyped for it. I've pre-ordered. I'm excited to get it. But there's no exclusives out this year on launch apart from Cuphead and then Forza 7 that is really going to push this system. Like the other exclusives, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, and now Crackdown 3, which has just been announced as delayed until next year. They were sort of the other big feathers in the cap. They're gone now. So what do you think? Is this going to hurt Microsoft, I guess, on launch with sales? Like, it's not a console for everybody.
Do you think we'll see anything else, though? Do you think that it's way too late? Because they still have quite some time, right?
We,
Like,
we
they've got a little
we won't see any more exclusives to drop on launch. Like November 7th is the day it's hitting shelves. There's no way that there's going to be another exclusive. Like, we're probably going to get a Halo, like another Halo iteration next year, or announced for maybe the following year. But other than that, it's just going to be a powerful console designed for true 4K gaming, 6 teraflops, and you know that's the buzzword you hear that's attached to this thing all the time. And teraflops is it's a trillion floating operations per second, so it just means the amount of you know instances and events and things that this system can process at once. So it can do a lot of things really fast. The PlayStation 4 Pro is about 4.2 teraflops, I think. Don't quote me exactly. So it's 30% more powerful than anything else on the market. But there isn't any games apart from Forza that's going to be out on launch that's going to push it into that spectrum where it's a must-own.
I think that's going to be the big problem, right? It's like, look, you've got this new console coming out, and that's great, but what are you going to use it for? Let's be honest, Forza is a beautiful game, right? Even if you don't like cars, I'm not really a car guy, but Forza is a beautiful game. There's a lot of games out there like that. But when you're looking at this Xbox console, if they don't have these exclusives to push it, then you're just spending a whole bunch of money to play games realistically that you could play on your old console.
Yeah, like it fits that same ecosystem. Like all the games that are going to be released between now and the next several years, they will be able to be played on the Xbox One, on the Xbox One S, and then the Xbox One X. So it's this big shared ecosystem, but there will be sort of fidelity upgrades for the One X games as opposed to the One S. So you will see some of that 4K. But as far as audiophile people go and sort of people that are hard on graphics, like it's a very niche part of the market.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that have got the Xbox One but haven't upgraded to the One S because they don't have a 4K TV or they don't care about HDR. So I think they're not going to capture a massive amount of the market. It's going to be a very specialized group that want that best-in-class tech.
Sold out already, though. So they're hitting the...
Oh, I was going to say, like, is it really a problem? I mean, Nintendo did it with the Switch where they didn't have all of their exclusives and some of their exclusive titles like Zelda were available on the Wii U. So it was like there wasn't that push, and yet they still sold out of all their units and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think sales are going to be a problem. I think that they'll get the market that they want for the sales. Like with the console selling out already, and I think that it's sold out in a lot of other places in the world as well, right? Like they sold a lot of units. I think that they're smart where they've done it, obviously around Gamescom. They've had these big releases, they've had these big launches, they've had a lot of like titles coming out that aren't only exclusive. But I think that's sort of the push now, that we're not seeing too many exclusive titles on consoles now as much as we used to, right?
Yeah.
We always used to have these PS4 only, we used to have these Xbox only, like PlayStation only, Xbox only, Microsoft.
Sony is still pushing that cart pretty heavily though. Like they are the exclusive powerhouse, and they've got a slew of games still coming. Like they've got The Last of Us 2 coming out. They've just had Hellblade released.
Great game.
They had Horizon Zero Dawn. A ton of other titles. God of War's coming out next year. Detroit Become Human. There's countless games like where they are investing a lot of money into having these licenses only available on Sony. But Microsoft seems to just be leaning instead towards more on the hardware side.
Yeah.
And almost trying to position this thing as a PC. Like, as far as the graphics go, it's on par to like a GTX 1070. So it's a pretty high-end tier GPU. Yep. So it's going to look great in true 4K gaming.
What are we talking price point?
It's $649 Australian. So it's $499 US. So it's actually with the currency conversion.
That's almost the price of a 1070, pretty much.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper for once with the currency conversion. We actually make out with a bit of a saving as opposed to usually it's you change from US to AU and then they add 10-20% on top. We actually come out ahead for the first time.
So as a Microsoft fan, obviously you said that Xbox is your thing. As a non sort of console person, most people watching, if they know who I am, I'm not really a console person at all. Do you think it's worth the price point? As a non-fan point of view, do you think that it's worth for people to get it?
I actually called the price. Like we've sort of had a lot of internal debate when it was initially announced before they revealed the pricing. I said anything under 700 I think is good, and it came in at 649, which is pretty decent. You can trade in your One S and get this thing for about 420. So you can save yourself another couple of $100. Yeah, no pun intended there or anything. Smokers out there, but I think the price is good. It's just there isn't, like doubling back to what you said, there isn't a Zelda attached to this on launch. There isn't a game that's going to move units. Like Forza's great, and it is the best racing game in the market. I played it at E3 and it's fantastic. Played it on the One X, looks $1 million.
So my second question to tie into that, right, is again, as a non sort of console fan type thing, do you think that they're at the point now where they're sort of taking the piss? As in we've got the Xbox One, we've got the Xbox One S, and now we have the Xbox One
X.
X. Do you think that we're getting to the point now where it's like, look, I get it, right? Because these games are going to be, and these consoles are going to be able to play majority of the games that are coming out for quite some time. But do you think it's getting to the point now where it's like, okay, like, we know that you can do this, but you're sort of being a bit rude about it, right? Because it's like, let's be honest, when it's just these tiny little upgrades where we don't have these big exclusives now coming out with this new console, it just sort of feels like they're taking the piss.
I think it's more of a long play from Microsoft. I think we'll see the fruits of their labor with this console in 12, 18 months' time when the next Halo drops or when State of Decay or Crackdown 3 comes out, when these big AAA titles that will push this console, that's when you'll see, holy shit, this One X is the best looking thing on the market. Like,
so you think this is the next one for the next few years?
Yeah. This is their flagship for the next few years.
I think this is as you said, this is the flagship, but it's also getting ahead of. Not everyone has a 4K TV.
No.
And a lot of people aren't ready to make that investment just yet. So I think that once the prices of those TV drops, people are going to pick up the Xbox One X.
It's
like,
definitely future-proofing.
That they've like positioned themselves to be.
You can get a 4K TV under $700 now.
Oh, like a Kogan no-name brand thing, yeah. But yeah, like my biggest gripe with it though is the hard drive that's coming with it. It's only a 1 terabyte hard drive. Like my One S has a 2 terabyte hard drive in it, and obviously you can expand it via portable HD, HDD. But a lot of these games come with like 10 gig 4K patches you need to download at launch. So this console is going to be full of 4K patches. So you might only have a handful of games to fit on this thing before you need to start cycling them out. And that's my biggest mistake.
I was going to say that's why they only released 2 at the beginning, right?
Yeah, one of my biggest things, like we have all the consoles in the house pretty much, right? Effectively for people to play at the house. And one of my biggest things right now with consoles is I miss the days of when you would buy a game, take it home, put the disc in, and then you can play the game. It literally doesn't exist anymore. Like I've bought games,
patch, new patch, this patch.
Like I've gone home and like say my internet's down, right? I'll go and buy a game and I'll get home and obviously I don't do it anymore. But like I've gone out, bought a game from like EB or something, taken it home, went to play the game. It's like you need an internet connection. I'm like, what's the point of a console? That's not what I bought it for. I just want to play whatever, like Tony Hawk now, but I can't because I have to download some patch. That's one thing that sort of maybe we should make a segment of what grinds my gears because that pisses me off.
Yeah. You got a lot of feelings right there?
Oh, you just give me, roll the camera and I'll talk about it for 15 minutes. It's so annoying.
It's certainly a big misstep with a lot of developers where they do require those patches to make some of these games playable. But that's the world we live in now where deadlines are getting tighter and they're getting forced to release games quicker. Obviously, they come out a little bit undercooked. You know, we've talked about this in some of the other segments on episodes. And it's not going to change, sadly, I think. There's still going to be these patches where they miss something or can't make launch dates, they'll get a day one patch to make it playable or prettier or fix whatever bug might be troubling them. So
I hope you got your pre-orders in because the new wave of consoles have just come in with a new retro gaming style with the SNES Nintendo Mini that's just come out.
Yeah.
Just on the piggybacking off the success of the first one.
Playing on those nostalgia hooks yet again, old Nintendo. It's smart, like the NES Classic Mini. Sold out in about 10 milliseconds last year.
Sold out twice.
Yeah, sold out twice. Was a debacle. I spit a lot of hate on the internet trying to get a hold of one of those. But anyway, but now on the back of that success and all the money they generated, they've released the SNES Classic Mini.
Yes.
$119.95 here in Australia.
What?
Yeah.
How much?
$120. Which is great.
It's pocket change compared to other
Yeah,
consoles.
you got that Twitch money. You know, you could buy 20 right now.
Yeah, woo.
If you could, you would.
But what do you think of this push that Nintendo are doing down this nostalgia path? Where obviously it's positioned at older gamers. Obviously, you know, kids say 15 years and under don't really have any attachment to the old retro Nintendo consoles. It's pushed at, you know, people like us. Is it something you want? Are you excited for? Would you get one? Would you play it?
Yeah, look, I think that the whole retro gaming thing is pretty cool. Look, I can just see you eyeballing me, dying to contribute.
No, it's fine. I'll wait.
Look, it's fun. It's things that people are familiar with. It's titles that they know and love. They probably grew up on. And, you know, who doesn't like to get your mates around and play some Mario? And, yeah, I remember how long it took you to grind through some of the titles. Like, what titles are they even coming out with?
Yeah, so there's 21 games on the SNES Classic Mini, which is great, and it is literally the who's who of the back catalogue of the SNES. So there's Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, a couple of Kirby games, Legends of Zelda: Link to the Past, which is a huge game from the SNES, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox 2, which actually never got released. So this is a world first exclusive game that never saw the light of day that's dropping on the SNES. Street Fighter 2, Castlevania 4, Mario Kart, Mario RPG, Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Yoshi's Island, and a few others. So it's...
Street Fighter's the only good one you listed off.
Oh, come on.
There is no bloat. There is no bloat in that list. Come on.
No, look, here's my thing, right, is nowadays with how accessible games are and how easy it is to get stuff like this, you don't need to go out and buy a $120 console to be able to play these games. Being realistic,
Are you going to say you can buy a $150 Raspberry Pi and get all the games?
No, realistically though, the games that you can get on your mobile these days, the games that you can get on Steam for literally under $1 have just as much playability and are just, quite good games. In saying that, look, because of the titles that are getting released, I'll probably get one and I'll probably try it and I'll probably enjoy it, right? But I just feel like, again, it's sort of companies taking the piss. They know that it's going to sell out. It's smart, right? They're a company. They're going to make a lot of money from it. But it's there are so many things now that you can go out and get, which has just as good games.
Look at how cute and little it is.
It's heaps cute and little. Ooh, can't wait. Only $120.
Exactly. What a
well
bargain for
priced.
happiness.
Well priced for
priced.
scuffed 20-year-old games.
20-year-old games, but that you loved playing.
Yeah, that I can play on my mobile for free.
No, but you can't play them on your mobile.
Oh,
Nintendo,
yes, you can.
Yeah,
you can illegally.
The reskinned version.
I would
whatever.
never.
But this literally is the who's who of the SNES back catalogue. It's got all the big titles. They didn't skimp and throw just generic run-of-the-mill games that were sort of afterthoughts. They've got Mario Kart, which is arguably the best karting game of all time.
You know what else is also good? The new Mario Kart, which looks a lot better.
You're the worst. You are the worst. But $120, 2 controllers, 21 games. You do need to buy an additional power pack if you don't have a USB port spare on your television.
Tell me more.
And anyone that has half a clue with televisions these days will have a USB port. So you can, because it's got such a low power draw, you can run it off the internal power off the television to power this console.
It's all wins to me.
But if you don't have, for some reason, a USB port on your television, maybe you're running an old CRT or some bullshit,
But that's probably the fan base that they want. They probably want that CRT TV.
Graphically it upscales to play in HD, so it's not going to sort of pixelate on the screen. It's not going to hurt your eyes playing these games.
Is that going to offend you though? Is that going to offend? Don't you want to see it all pixelated? Doesn't that make the game better?
Well, it's going to be pixelated in HD.
Yeah, but it's just not. It's not going to hurt your eyes. I've played a lot of
I love
N64
indie games.
on HD, and it hurts my head.
You are such a liar. Look at you.
I just don't see the point.
This is your party game. This is the thing that you bring over for your friends. This is the social console. I reckon.
Like a Wii,
Controllers.
Rather than your mobile with your anti-social in the corner.
like a Wii but mini, and you have to buy all your games again.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's tiny.
on the back of this, September 30th, this thing drops. And funnily enough, and to no surprise, Nintendo have already filled out or requested a patent on the Nintendo 64 hardware. So maybe next holiday period, we'll see the N64 Mini hit the shelves. Anyway, what do you guys think? Hit us up on the socials at Invert Aim. Did you pre-order one? Are you interested? Do you hate the idea? Do you think it's just a blatant cash grab and nothing more? Or do you think...
Nintendo would never.
Nintendo are a great company.
They know what they're about. They're about heart. Okay? I love us.
All right, guys. Number 3 thing for today out of the topics is the EB Games Swap and Play. It's a lot like a Netflix style thing with games, and what you can do is you can pretty much play any pre-owned game. I think it's under $50.
Under $50
for free if you pay $20 a month.
Yeah.
So it's like a Netflix membership, and you can play any game that's pre-owned, obviously being the key word, valued under $50 for free. I personally think this idea is great. There's a lot of things that could be very up and down, but the premise of it is actually pretty damn cool. There's a lot of pre-owned games, and if a kid is quite young, right, and his parents don't want to go out there and buy every A-list title game that comes out for $99 these days, if they pay $20 a month or whatever the price is, and they can go in there and swap out games in and out every day or every couple of days if they want to, that's cool. Like for younger kids that might not have a lot of money, I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's very smart. Like for now, it's only available in South Australia. That's I guess the hotbed where they're going to trial this.
There's like 3 people in South Australia.
Well, they're going to get some good access to some pre-owned games. So it's available in South Australia only as of today. Obviously, that will expand once this thing gets moving. It's $19.95 a month, but if you sign up, and all you got to do is tie your EB World card to this swap and play application on the website, you get a 2-month trial for free. So you can try this out for 2 months, similar to what Netflix do and Stan and all those streaming services. You know, you get 30 days free to try it to your heart's content. So they're trying it out for free, $19.95, but all the games have to be pre-owned and have to be under $50. So I've sort of done a bit of a quick comb through the EB Games website just to see what games that allows us access to and promptly doesn't allow us access to. The main hitters that I've seen as far as on that $48 or $50 price point, Diablo 3. So I could maybe play some Diablo. Tomb Raider.
Console, yeah.
Dying Light, Dragon Age Inquisition, some Lego games, Sniper Elite 3. So there's a lot of games that are all right or reviewed okay or pretty well, but there's nothing probably from the last 12 months available in this service. So that's my gripe. I think extend this out to maybe, I don't know, $70 pre-owned or something. Get some AAA recent titles in to gain interest.
Oh, I'm just going to say that's going to be like the next band, you know, that'll be like your entry point, and then you can, you know, for the extra $5, get that extra tier game.
That's exactly what I was going to say, I think we're going to see an entry-level point of, say, $20, and then you can upgrade your subscription to maybe $30, to maybe $40 a month, which realistically, I think, if they were to come out and say, if you pay $40 per month, I feel like you can play, or $50 a month, whatever the price point is, you can play any pre-owned game that they have in the store. If I was a console player, I'd pay that. Because realistically, these days, what, you get, say, 12 hours gameplay out of most titles?
Yeah, depending on the game, like you could play through 4 or 5 titles in a month for $50, which is
that's
good.
insane. Yeah.
Which is really good. It's funny because this almost loosely ties into the 7-day return policy, like unofficially that they have already, where obviously you buy a game brand new, you clock it within a week and then you take it back. So it's almost the similar situation where you smash it out, you get your game time in, and then you return it and wasn't any good or whatever excuse you got to tell them. You know?
There's a lot of little dodgy things like that. I worked at EB for a long time, and they used to, on the back of the receipt, this is a little bit off topic, but on the back of the receipt it used to say, "We'll match any price," and it's meant to be any other store's price. But people come in and argue that it's any price, so even online prices they would come in and find, and it's like realistically. You'd be like, oh, it's only online. It's not online, and then they go, it's not what it says.
Yeah.
And then you have to call that office and head office to disapprove it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many little dodgy things, but I think that this is a good way of being like, look, this is what we have: $50 a month or $40 a month for the upgraded one. If they do it, if EB Games sees this, you should do that. That's a smart idea.
More money in your pocket.
More money, exactly right. But do you think that would take away from their pre-owned?
I don't
like
think
as in
so.
the one-off sales?
As in one-off sales, and I think that they would start to lose a lot of sales because if people can do that, not as many people I feel in the sort of masses are going to be going in and buying games.
I think the biggest risk that's going to come from this is people have their heart set on a specific title, and obviously they're not going to have 20 or 30 of these on the shelf. They might only have 2 or 3 of these specific pre-owned titles. So you're going to get a lot of disgruntled customers where, unlike a Netflix, when you can say everyone wants to watch, I don't know, Riverdale or whatever the hell, everyone can jump on, irrespective of the amount of numbers on there. Great show, by the way. But yeah, like people might have in their mind, Call of Duty World War III is now, or World War II, sorry, is now pre-owned. I want to come in and get it, and there's none available. So that might lead to disgruntled customers, and then they might drop the service because the games they want aren't available.
That, or it just forces their hand to buy the trade-in.
That's true.
Because then they're like, oh, I really had my heart set on it. It's not available. Oh, look, it's there for $20. Might as well get it. Especially if it's those great multiplayer games. I think that's where they need to start focusing on. You know, if they get those ones with like the big community on the shelves, that's what's going to prompt people to get the actual sales. So.
Exactly. I think either way, EB aren't going to lose out here. They're making money
No, they're
no matter
very
how you
smart about
slice this cake.
yeah.
Like they're going to take the $19.95 a month off you, or they're going to take the full purchase outright, or you're going to buy it because it falls out of that $50 price bracket. Like at time of writing, there's no confirmation they will be tiers, but it makes too much sense not to.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
wouldn't you?
absolutely.
I think they're just losing money if they don't. It's an interesting idea, but I think it just ties into the supply and demand aspect of it.
You know what's
they might run
crazy?
low on gear.
I think it's great for consumers, but like then we get into the whole game developers missing
Mm.
out, which they already are with the trade-ins, because they've got a great program, and I think that's where EB's making the bulk of their money. Would that be right?
I think, yeah, trade-ins are always super high value. It's always like a big push whether you work at like, you know, EB Games or any sort of other gaming store where they have pre-owned. It's always a big push for a lot of them. But I think when we're talking about looking at stuff like parties and everything, I think this is a really good system where if you want to talk about like value for your money, if you're saying there is no other tiers and you got the $20 per month, if you have a party every Friday or Saturday night, right, and you got friends around, or even if it's just to come and hang out, if you pay that $20 a month, and then you can go out and get a game that you know is 8-player game or a 4-player game, and
get
you
your
can get
money's
4
worth.
or 5 games for that whatever the price point
Well,
is.
you can
right?
only get one at a time.
Okay, so one at a time. So
From that
every
20,
week,
you can't take 50 home. It can be, one, and then bring that one back, get another one, bring that one back. So it's sort of a one in, one out
that's
situation.
insane. Like for the value, I think for the money, that's actually like super good because you could have literally like one game this week. You have mates over the next weekend, go out and get another game, and you're literally paying $20. That's pretty good.
And I like it because it's generating that foot traffic into the stores.
Yeah.
So it's really smart on their part to start getting people in physically inside.
I'm interested to see what you guys think out there. How do you guys feel about this system? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? I think all in all, I think that's great. I think they've really hit the nail on the head. Even if I don't even really shop at EV Games because everything I want to play is on Steam pretty much. So
And all you play is World of Warcraft and PUBG,
console,
CS.
yeah,
So
that's all I need.
you haven't bought a new game in 10
Overwatch
years or
too. I
something.
play Overwatch.
Yay.
Open crates. But let us know what you guys think. Obviously, you guys think it's not too bad as well.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea. I think you guys hit the nail right on the head, and I didn't even think about it as the tier system where you can get access to newer games, recent games, as opposed to having to wait 18 months or so till they fall into that $50 price bracket.
Yeah.
Well, that's it from us at Invert Aim. I'm Feisty, and this is Brendan and Ryan. Follow us on the socials and hit us up and follow up with some of the topics that we've talked about. We'd love to hear your opinions, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Much love.
Bye.